All right, in this video, I'm going to break down a couple of ways you can use AI to actually automate your agency, save a bunch of time, and yeah, just make everything easier. Where I see AI being really useful is like automating your content and helping you source leads at scale that are actually qualified. Now, this FYI, this video is not going to be like the be all end all AI appointment setters, AI agents, and like the whole marketing juice where people pitch you they're going to save your agency and get it to seven figures when you have to do like 1 hour a week of work. That's not what this is. Just want to make that clear. But there are a lot of ways you can actually use AI to automate stuff, and it's actually very useful if you know how to use it. So I'm going to cover that in this video. The first thing is like lead enrichment and like lead sourcing. So if you do any outreach on like X or Instagram and you use like platforms like Drippy, for X, or colddms.com for Instagram, what you usually do is you scrape followers of an account, and you list some keywords, and then it will output the ones that have the keywords and then outreach to those. I found a lot of the time those leads aren't qualified a lot of the time, and so I've set up an actual prompt in ChatGPT where I can import a CSV of a following of someone's account, and I'll just show you here. So I'm in the agency niche, so I target agency owners. So I've essentially made a ChatGPT prompt that is going to take that massive CSV, and like ChatGPT can take huge CSVs after this latest update. So like you can put a list of like 50k leads into it, which is great. But what this is it helps me find agency owners. So inclusion criteria: a real marketing service delivered to clients. The buyer must be describe a structured client-facing service that the businesses pay for. So like it can be anything from cold email, cold DMs, outbound content creation, LinkedIn, YouTube, SEO, ghostwriting, paid ads, email marketing, retention. Those are the e-com ones. Funnel building, CRO, like growth operating, automations, all that stuff. So what ChatGPT is going to do is actually find accounts that it's going to like critically reason through a bio instead of just like use keywords, which is quite insane. And so when it's done with that, I can just import it straight into Drippy, and I'm not wasting all these credits, and the quality of lead is actually great. So my KPIs just go immediately up. So this will work if you're in any niche, and all you have to do is really go into ChatGPT. And for example, if you're in like the coaches consultant niche, you can like go in, instruct an AI model to filter through a CSV of a following to find coaches and consultants. And then you can also include like location filtering. Like in mine, I exclude anyone from like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Malaysia. Those are just simply because they can't afford my services. But like you can get really technical on what you actually want AI to do. And so when you go back here, like you can just start it from here, and it won't be great at the start, but all you do is you just prompt ChatGPT and you get it until it's like a perfect prompt. Because like mine is like, if you can see, it's like a V6.1. So I went through ChatGPT a couple of times until like it's like coach, consultant, identity, helping others improve, service based, not done for you, exclusion criteria, and like look, it's already doing a bunch of stuff. And so it's going to output those accounts, and you're going to improve lead quality drastically. So that's something you can use ChatGPT for. Something else I use AI for, I use Claude for this because I think it's better at copywriting, but I use Claude to take my YouTube videos and automate all my short form content. So I do a bunch of short form content, and that is all actually automated with AI. So all I do is, for example, I go into LinkedIn lead sourcing tutorial. This is one of the videos I made. I just copy this, I get the transcript. Once the transcript's downloaded, I put it into Claude, and I've also got a project knowledge that I've created in Claude to essentially make me 3 types of short form content, which are giveaways, YouTube purposing scripts, and just basic short form content providing value. So I take the transcript, I put it into Claude, and I've essentially got a short form copywriter project, and I will show you as well. Short form copywriter project knowledge. So this is what I put into Claude. So I have my content types, I have key points, I have things I want to actually make sure that Claude is doing when it makes these things. I have hook types that I want, like pattern interrupts, numbers based hooks, curiosity driven hooks, how to process hooks. So all the different types of hooks, and I studied like a lot of LinkedIn X posts that went viral to see which actual posts do well. the main thing is value, and like really YouTube is the main focus for anyone. Really, I would recommend YouTube is like you put 90% of your focus on YouTube, and then the rest is just like automated, like what I'm doing here. So hook requirements like must be short, evoke some form of emotion, curiosity. Like we're getting to the point where you still have to have a creative mind to actually do these things, but ChatGPT is going to make things, and like Claude, for example, they're going to make things like a bunch easier because you can actually save so much time. But you still have to think and like put the right things into AI. So like I've got copywriting guidelines. So I've read a bunch of copywriting books, I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos, so I know what makes some good copywriting. So one idea per post, simple sentences, mountain copy, a mix of short and long lines, so it's easy to read. The content should always match the tone and style of the transcript given to align with the personal brand. So I've got some clients and I help them like make YouTube videos, and that's one of the things we do. We also help them like build outbound systems, whatever. How it works is they make YouTube videos, I put them into this Claude project, and the short form content still sounds like them. Like the YouTube repurposing scripts sound like them. When someone watches the video, there's not this like social dissonance where the short form content is nothing like what's in the video. So that's why I've also got to Claude to do that, because it was struggling with that. But essentially, it's a lot of iteration in these projects where you just continue to improve it, and then over time, you've just got something insane where you can put a YouTube transcript into it, and you've essentially got perfect short form content. You don't have to touch anything, and that can help with your outbound stuff if you're doing stuff on LinkedIn, X, Instagram. You've got all these posts to actually nurture an audience so that you can actually sell them. Now, this is why AI is so good for this, because in 2025, trust is quite low. Doesn't mean outbound doesn't work. It will work. If you're doing outbound alone, it will still work. But when you're making content, getting inbound leads, you're just building more trust. You're nurturing people more. You're going to get less objections. It's much easier. Got a bunch of rules like never copy and paste scripts, create new angles for similar, always screen each post line by line. And then I've got platform notes. So for X, I do all the same things. I just make everything a bit shorter. So on LinkedIn, I know the platform is a bit more like corporate-y, and like people actually want to see some more longer form content. On X, it's really just like get someone's attention, provide some value, or like get someone's attention, get into the YouTube video. The main goal of well, at least my main goal with this is to be able to just funnel as much traffic I can into the YouTube channel over time. YouTube is like the long-term play, but it's the play that gets you the most outputs over time. Like in 3 to 6 months, you make one YouTube video, that's going to get you, 10, 20 qualified calls probably over time, because the nature of the video is just evergreen. And YouTube builds the most trust out of anything else. And so when you have this to go along with it, you essentially can put all the focus onto YouTube, but you do not have to waste all that time to make all this short form content, which can take 5 to 10 hours a week. So what you want to do is whatever short form content you want to make, you go into Claude and you create a new just chat, and you start asking it, you start prompting it with what you want to tell it. So create a project that helps me automate short form content. I won't do this now, but you can essentially just follow this kind of structure where I've also got structure comments. So hook, segue, explain what you recorded, segue to this. That's a bunch of technical stuff, but pretty much some examples that I've got. If I've got my YouTube repurposing hub, which is where I store all my short form content. So when I just go into this, it's this is an example where I made a sales video, how you can handle some objections. 95% of objections are smoke screens. So there's the hook. There's the numbers based hook. This is the segue. So agency owners lose sales daily because they never figure this out. This is kind of a copywriting principle where you got the problem with the hook and then you agitate in the second line. It's pretty much a fancy way of saying that. And then, so I've recorded a mini objection handling framework. So this is introducing the video recorded. Listicle, just explaining what's in the video at a high level. You keep the curiosity high, and then you give a CTA, and then people watch the video. So no matter what type of posts you want to make, all you have to do is take your mind and literally plug that into Claude, so then it can essentially think like you and make posts like you. This is the thing where people get extremely wrong with AI. They think if someone just says make me an email copy for a fitness coach, people think that this kind of stuff is going to work, and these people are just going to absolutely lose, and they're going to get destroyed, because if you see right now, it's not going to be very good. It's look at this. hope this email finds you well. My name is a certified fitness. Are you feeling stuck in your fitness journey? So like this is the problem with like Claude, ChatGPT, and people that don't know how to use it. You still have to have like the mind that understands what's going on. Otherwise, you can't instruct AI what to do, and you won't be able to automate anything. You'll be automating. It's garbage in, garbage out. So you still have to. Still the input to AI, and AI is like the process. So if there's a system, you still have to like know what you're doing and how to provide value. You know how to position yourself differently, how to like actually make short form content, a certain type of post structures, because like AI just isn't this good yet. Like maybe it will get to the point where it can do stuff this well, but as all I can see for like the next couple of years, it won't be able to do that. So you have to actually think. And if you've been making a lot of short form content, you've been making a lot of content, all you have to do is train Claude to think like how you would to make posts. And you can also give it what I found to be really useful is you give it a bunch of examples, and then it will essentially train itself to write like that. This is a similar thing that I did for like these scrapers that I use, where I put the CSV into it and I put a bunch of bios that I know already are part of the niche. Like for example, like email and SMS marketing for e-com brands. $5 million generated in the last 12 months. So like that type of bio, I know that's going to be someone in my niche that I can reach out to. So I can give Claude a bunch of those examples, or like ChatGPT in this case. And in that case, it can also do like a matching kind of thing where it knows how to think based on the bios you give it. So kind of going overboard there, but this is how you can use AI. Another way you can use it is there's a certain way that I do DMs on X and Instagram. I do not pitch anyone. I first try and get out of the message request folder, and I find that like this is one of the best ways to do it. I've booked around like 30 appointments last month from Calendly. All I do is cold DMs. I don't do like any cold email, anything like that. So I found this to work really well on platforms like X and Instagram where you need to get out of message requests. So I've created like a DM opener script right on X where I can say niche is agency owners. Service is organic acquisition. Give me a DM opener. So like this is very much in the making. But if you want to automate these things as well, look, saw you pop up while looking around agency threads. Been wondering if most people are leaning into content mode or still heavy on outbound. So I thought about DMs a lot and how to actually get people to reply to stuff nowadays. And there was a lot of thinking involved in it, but I think that the best way to do it for DMs, like obviously for cold email, it's kind of like personalization, offer, and then you just do like a soft CTA to like a Loom or video. But I found like in DMs, because the barrier to entry is so low, you do have to kind of start with no pitch at all, and you have to seem like you could genuinely be asking a question that has nothing to do with pitching. But it also can't be bait and switch to the point where if you ask the question, they replied, and then you just go straight to the pitch them. You don't want to turn them off by them thinking it's bait and switch. So I essentially trained Claude to be able to make me DM openers like this. So run me through the first principles or steps you use to make this DM openers. So this is another thing you can use AI for, but again, I only recommend you do this when you actually have a proof of concept and you've thought about it yourself. Like this is the whole like creativity thing with AI. You're not going to be able to tell AI what to write. You need to have a thinking mind that knows, what makes the environment and like what makes people take action in the DMs. Like for this DM opener script, I know like my, I guess, stimuli, if you want to call it that. I know that the action I need to get is just a reply. So I can get out of message requests and then I pitch them after that with like a video permission message. Separate to like what I do after that with like, because I do like a video permission message into like a mini VSL, and then from there I send a Calendly to them getting booked into a call. But all I want them to do is reply. So knowing that all I want to do is reply, I can essentially formulate the DM opener. Like this is how the best people in this space think. Like Charlie Morgan, Alex Hormozi, all these people, they think about what the market wants to see. Like if you see all these YouTube videos that people make, they make what the market wants to see, not what they want to make. So like for example, they know on YouTube they just want people to keep watching the video. They want the AVD to stay high as possible. They want the thumbnail to be ultra clickable. So that's why clickbait exists. Like the best people that make YouTube content, they make clickbait titles and then they deliver on that through really good videos that actually provide value. And they don't care about views. Some of them, a lot of people have they just know they do everything with the market in mind. So even for outreach, everything you make has to be with the market in mind. Like, people are getting pitched 24/7. You know that the market's like the trust is quite low at the moment. And so what you have to do is just play along with that. So I've got this 3-part structure where scalable personalization. So I use Drippy and automated software, but I want to make my message seem as personalized as possible so that they could think that I actually spent time formulating the message to send it to them. Now, with automation and like scaling, it's just impossible to personalize everything. And people who do cold email do this as well. Like, they mass personalize using like stuff like Clay, and there's nothing, I guess, wrong with it. But it's just way more likely to get a reply when there's like more perceived effort. So don't over customize, don't under personalize. Simulate organic interest from lurking Twitter threads or mutual niche crossover. Why this works: people like pattern recognition machines. If a message feels like it wasn't mass sent, suspicion drops dramatically. It's like a whole bunch of stuff you can do there. And then believable reason. You need to have a reason. It's like, this is for me personally how I've learned the DMs work really well. I essentially asked with an open, like a question that's designed to get a short answer, but there's a specific like thing I want people to think, where if I'm asking this question, I want them to think it could be for a reason that's not to pitch them. So like, use emotional context, not logic. Never sound like you're qualifying them. Got curious what others are doing right now. I've been thinking about how the people split focus. This really applies to your niche as well, which is like, this is why this is a work in progress, which I encourage you to think and not just use AI. But once you've learned what clicks in your niche, or once you've learned what works in the DMs, you can then train like ChatGPT to be able to make DM openers that suit whatever you've got a proof of concept for. This is by no means like the way you have to do DM outreach. There's a bunch of ways that you can do DM outreach, and straight offers like do kind of work on outreach. You will need a bit more volume, but if you like, this is what I found to be proof of concept for me. So now I can use AI to automate the process, so I don't essentially have to think. All I have to do is think what to give AI, and then it can do the heavy lifting for me. But it's not going to like be all end all save my business, which a lot of gurus will pitch you nowadays because they're trying to sell their course. If AI were that good and you could just immediately, make an amazing business out of it, then why would they sell you a course on it? You could just go to Claude, go to ChatGPT, and become a millionaire in 2 weeks if you really wanted to. So it's not as simple as people say, and there is a lot of marketing. But overall, these are a bunch of ways that I've found AI to be extremely useful. There is one other thing, like if you're doing cold email, for example, and you're like, I want to do cold email. What are all the things I need to know about deliverability in 2025 to reach the inbox? So like, this is what AI is going to be really good for as well. This is the last thing I'm going to cover, and this is exactly what I mean when I say AI is like a tool. Like, when you understand, because like, for example, with cold email, you can like use AI to understand all the environmental factors that go into deliverability, so that you can then think and do things with your emails, with your setup, with like everything to do with cold email. Because like, you have all these records, you have all this stuff you need to set up now to actually reach the inbox and not get into spam. So email accounts, DNS records, branded domain warm up, list hygiene, like everything you need to keep deliverability high. So that's another thing you can use ChatGPT for. You can essentially like understand the laws of the environment kind of that you're working in, which is, for example, like you could do it with YouTube as well. It's like, I'm making YouTube videos and my audience is X. What type of videos, or what is the market currently like, and then from there, when you find out their problems, pains, desires, you can essentially then use your own thinking mind, which is what I'm emphasizing right now, most important thing, to then make YouTube videos that nurture, that provide a lot of value, that get inbound calls booked through whatever funnel you're running. So no matter what you're doing, it's going to be a tool. AI in general is going to be a tool that you can use to automate stuff and save time, and then only do that when you've actually thought about things and you've systemized your processes, and then you can automate them using AI. That's the most important thing. The small exception for that is like the lead enrichment thing. That one is just like, AI is just extremely useful for that, because I can plug CSVs of like 50K into it, and immediately gives me like 3 to 4K agency owners, which I then plug into all like my automation softwares for DMs, which I then use to like initiate people and book calls. But yeah, this is what AI is going to be useful for. If you enjoyed the video, just let me know in the comments. If you want any video similar or anything else you're struggling to, generate appointments, get clients, anything you're struggling with, you can put it in the comments and I'll see if I can make a video about it. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.